Hey guys, Mr. J here. Welcome back to the channel here. So we have a new class, which is the Hellbone class, and I'm going to show you guys or give you guys a review of the class here, and also show you guys all their skills and everything that you should know about the class. So we currently have the class at level 5. So of course, everything is kind of, maxed out in regards to the skill, the amount of points you can get and everything. Once you get the class here, which is available in the season, which is at the end of the season, you'll get the class at level 3, so you'll not get a level 5 class. You'll have to upgrade the class, of course, to level 5 to be able to use the max ability here in everything that you see. With the level 3 class, the only thing that is not available will be this right here, the Indestructible. This will not be available until you're at level 5. Alright, so the first skill that we have here is Complying. So basically, it reduces the enemy's attack by 30%, so they become weaker. Also, this attack lasts for 4 seconds, and dealing damage to the affected enemy will reduce this duration even less. So basically what the Compliance does is that it deprives enemy of self-control. So put them into like a zombie-like state. Let me show you right here. So if you aim it at the enemy, you can see there, it's like in a zombie-like state. It's not attacking. Once I attack, they start, it reduces the compliance, of course. Multiple things you can do with a skill here. For example, you can lure the enemy with a skill to a trap. So when you're in the middle of PvP and you do want to grab your sun trap straight off the bat, you can definitely do it with compliance, of course. Another thing as well, if the enemy is trying to run away while the health is pretty low, you can use the compliance and a sun trap as well to grab that enemy and kill that enemy as well. Another way to use this skill here, of course, is, let me show you right here. So you can just go like that, boom, compliance. Automatically, you can do a trap, boom, easy. Now, of course, when they're in the trap sense, they can dispel, so that's a thing. You're going to be able to dispel. But you can, try to aggro their dispel. And that will definitely change the whole entire experience in fighting. All right, and not to mention as well, you can aggro both the mobs here. You can aggro a bunch of mobs, actually. The green thing, it's basically an after effect of the golden lizard. That's the skill that it has. That's a pretty good skill. But you can, comply a whole team, or you can do that for, a bunch of mobs as well. So yeah, pretty good. You could cover a large radius and a bunch of enemies with this skill. So it's a really good skill here. And you can see how it could be very helpful in PvP. Alright, so the next skill we have here is the Helheim sword. So it turns your current weapon into a sword, and also the weapon damage is increased, but it depends on the weapon that you're currently using or the weapon that's currently activated. Also, the attack range increases as well. And there's an aura around the sword, which reduces the effectiveness of the enemy's healing by 25%. Also, the enemy's movement speed as well by 25%. So also when you cast a spell here, it removes all control effect from the character, which is your character, the Hellbone, and also the allies in the radius as well here. Let me go ahead and kill, let me need some of this here. But of course as well, you need to accumulate 7 power to have this in effect. So each attack grants the Hellbone one such effect. So let me show you guys a quick representation here. So for example, you can see I'm currently stacked up to 7 above the character. I'm going to zoom in on that. That's 7, right? It's similar to the Fire Mage, right? You make a stack, and for this case, you click on the sword that's currently, in gold. You can see there, boom, and you can see that it does slow the enemy. You can see the slow effect, and you can see as well what happened with my current weapon. It turned into a sword as well. So that's how the effect works. Pretty good. One hit, you can see there, it adds or stacks the sword icon at the top over the character's head. That's accumulating power. It has to hit 7. This is the last one hit. Then you can see it is accumulated here. So once you have accumulated the power as well here, it does not get removed, right? It stays there, like it does not move. It does not, even if you change to the sword, it just, transfer that power over to the sword and shield. So pretty good. So yeah, no matter what you do, basically, it still stays there. Of course, if you leave the location, it would just reset. But once you're in the location, you still have that power accumulated. But let me go ahead and show you guys for this as well here for the sword. Once you change the sword, it gives it a different effect, kind of similar but different. It requires you to stack as well, as similarly as you see how I stacked by doing damage. That's how it's been stacked. Every hit, accumulates power. But for this skill right here, which is called the Helheim Sword and Shield, it increases block damage by 50%, so we can block more. And the shield aura supports the Hellbone and their allies by increases their damage resistance by 20% and apply the vampire's effect. So attacks restore health equal to 20% of the damage dealt. So that's the vampire's effect. Every attack restores your health equal to 20% of the damage dealt. So when the spell is cast, places a damage barrier on the Hellbone and their allies in the area, in the radius as well. My voice kind of cracked there, but yeah, and their allies in the radius equal to 20% of their maximum health for 7 seconds. So that's a buff as well here. For example, let me show you right here. Increases, the amount of blocks you take. You can see there, pretty good. And also beneficial for in a party with your teammates and stuff. So that's pretty good. All right, so the next skill here is the Amend. So there's a 50% chance that the Hellbone will not be affected by any control effect cast on them here. So this is going to be really good. There's a 50% chance that any control effect will not take effect on the Hellbone. This is going to be really crucial in PvP. And this is a lot of dodge effect. For example, if you have on any equipment as well that adds to dodge, it's going to be really good. Also, having a pet that has damage resistance, this could be really, a really tanky class. Well, not probably a tanky with a sword, of course, but also it could be a really tanky class in regards to being able to evade, special effects and using dispels as well. Also being able to use the compliance effect, that's really powerful. All right, so the next skill here is the Indestructible. When taking lethal damage, the Hellbone does not die, but freeze becomes temporarily invulnerable and also restores 2% of their maximum health every 2 seconds. So naturally, it would just restore 2% of the health every seconds. Not only that, but it also taunts all enemies that have attacked the Hellbone in a large radius. 100% of their weapon damage suffered by the Hellbone in the invulnerable state transforms into healing. So basically, once the Hellbone take lethal hits at pretty low, it freezes and then it starts to restore health naturally by 2%. And once it takes hits, the enemies in the radius will just automatically taunt, similar to the Protector taunt, and the enemy will just straight up go towards the Hellbone. And while they're in the frozen state, the hits they take, 100% of the weapon damage, restores the Hellbone effect. So that's really good, and that's going to be really helpful in PvP. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me know if this class will be worth the hype. Do you think it's a good class? Do you think it's not a good class? Let me know your thoughts down below. Appreciate y'all for watching. Hopefully have a good one, and peace.